Alrighty, good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. Very excited to have you all today as we're going to be sharing how to create a menu for your business. So my name is Derek Lewis and I'll be your presenter today, and I'm currently a customer service representative at phone.com. And just to give you a brief overview of what we'll be covering, I'm going to first go into a very brief business setup scenario so you guys can have some nice perspective on how a realistic menu is created. From there, we'll go into making a menu greeting, and I'll give you some tips to make the most of that experience. And then we will go into adding your menu and configuring the forwarding. And lastly, we will activate your menu from your phone.com number. And of course, we'll have a nice Q&A to wrap things up at the end. All right, so jumping into our setup scenario, we have QuickWeb. Sarah here is an entrepreneur and a web designer. And her need is that she needs a professional menu for her business through phone.com, of course. And she primarily uses a cell phone and a soft phone to receive calls. So what I've determined is that she's going to need three very simple menu options. Option number one is going to direct calls to her sales line, which will forward to her cell phone or her soft phone. Option number two will be for existing customers, and that's going to be for customer service. And then option zero is going to be a quick leave a voicemail message. So just to give you guys an idea of the setup process when making a menu with phone.com, I know things feel a little scattered with the interface, but when you really break it down, making a menu is three simple steps. The first is to create your menu greeting. The second is to then configure your menu options within the menu settings. And then the third and final step is to forward your phone.com number to your menu. So if you haven't made a menu yet, I'm going to go through the whole process to get you nice and comfortable with everything. All right, so let's jump on in to making the greeting for our menu. Just some quick tips that I've observed in my time in customer service here with people making a menu for their business. Keep the greeting as simple as possible and as few options as possible. You don't want to give off, 9 options if it's not really needed. If you get it away with 3. The next thing is to also definitely consider putting your most commonly used menu options first in your greeting. So if customer service is the primary option people are calling, try to not make that the very last one, just to make it more efficient from your callers. In regards to making a greeting for your menu, you have 4 primary options in your account, which I'm going to go over. We have text to speech, record from phone, upload new file, and then you can also take advantage of our professional recording services. So let me jump into our account here and we can show you guys how to get this going. So I'll log in real quick. So account home, I'm sure you're all familiar with. To add a greeting for your menu, you'll start by going to configure and you'll choose add a greeting on the far right here. I'll go over very briefly some of these things. Nickname, of course, is the nickname. If you need to edit your menu greeting in the future, definitely try to be as specific as possible. I think we'll just call ours main menu greeting to keep this simple here. Restricted to, you can leave that to all. For a menu, don't worry about that. And also leave allowed for hold music is no. For those of you that are new to the greeting page, I'll go over the options just to give you your ideas here. Upload new file is if you want to upload a file you've already recorded that's on your computer, you can choose the choose file button and then choose upload, and that's going to upload it to your account. If you do record from phone, what you do is you select this box here. It's going to bring up a little dialog, and you can either enter a landline or a cell phone number here and push call. And what's going to happen is the phone.com system will call you, and then you can record your menu greeting directly from your phone. And the last option on this page is text to greeting. This is the most basic. You basically type in a message and a computer automated voice is going to read off exactly what you typed. From a professional standpoint, I would definitely not recommend this option long term. What I'm going to do here is use this option for our menu, but hypothetically, if this was my company, I would maybe use this option as a placeholder while I'm getting a professional recording done. And then later down the road, I'll go and switch them out. So let me get my template here for what I typed up. Do a quick copy and paste. Okay, so we're going to say, thanks for calling QuickWeb, a leading provider for all of your web design needs. Please press 1 for sales, press 2 for customer service, or press 0 to leave us a message. And for text to greeting, you can choose the voice. All of the professional voices are a safe bet. I'll just stick with Allison here.
Hi, my name is Allison.
I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but if you click preview, it's going to read off the entire message that you guys have established here. So I am going to save this greeting out, and that will be our main menu greeting as soon as that saves. Okay, and that lands you on the Manage Greetings page. So if you ever need to edit your menu greeting in the future, you would go to Configure and then Manage Greetings, and that'll take you here. You can preview your main menu greeting directly and also edit or delete it with the settings. While I'm on this page, just to discuss the professional custom recordings that we offer, if you click this advertisement here, it's going to take you to the audio production store, and you are certainly more than welcome to contact them and get your own professional recording done if you don't have somebody on site. All right, so let's move on to the next step, which is configuring your menu. So this is the part where you can set the primary greeting for your menu in addition to an invalid entry message. Let's say somebody pushes a menu on your option that doesn't exist. You can either play a different greeting or the same one. That's totally up to you. And we also have allow extension dial. So if people know your extension number, you can allow them to directly dial that instead of doing the menu options. So jumping back to the interface here, to make the menu, we'll go to Configure, and we'll choose Add a Menu. And of course, name, just like the nickname field, try to make this as specific as possible. We'll call ours main menu greeting. So if you have a sales menu, you could call that sales menu in addition. So outgoing message, we will choose our main menu greeting. And I think if somebody pushes a wrong button, we're just going to replay the greeting so they can try that whole process again. And we will also turn allow extension dial to yes. So this is going to make the menu, and you'll push continue. And that will get us to configuring your menu. So mapping your business, you have the options of 1 to 9, 0, and pound in addition to no input. You can do very flexible routing with all the options, so it's entirely up to you of how you want to configure it. But we will follow our business scenario. So I believe option number 1 was directing to sales. So what we'll do is we'll select edit for option number 1. And we want to change select operation to forward calls. And Sarah wants to have calls forwarded, let's say, to her cell phone, in addition to her communicator soft phone that we offer, which we'll call extension 503. So what this will do is it's going to ring both of these numbers simultaneously for 20 seconds. And then if neither of those pick up, then we need to set another action, which we can do here. And we will send all calls directly to voicemail on extension 503. So that's the sales line. If you guys want to know any details about the call handling rules page, definitely let me know. There's a lot of intricate settings here that you can get into, but I'll just keep it brief for the sake of time. Okay, so option 2 was customer service, so we'll select edit for that. And let's say that Sarah has hired another employee and she has a communicator soft phone and she wants that person to handle all of the calls to customer service, which we'll call Jenny on extension 502. So Jenny's going to get all customer service calls. It's going to ring her soft phone for 20 seconds. And if Jenny does not pick up, she's going to get a voicemail on her own extension that she can check. And our last and final option was to push 3, I think it was 3, I believe, to leave a message. So we'll do edit for number 3, and this one is super simple. If you just want calls to go directly to your voicemail inbox, you change select operation to leave voicemail, and then you can choose your applicable extension to have voicemails left on. So one bonus thing I want to share with you guys, I don't know if you're familiar, but there's been pretty prevalent issues with spam callers and phone hackers. I don't know if you've read the recent New York Times article, but what people tend to do, these people, is they'll call into a menu system and they'll just kind of float about without using any menu options. And this unfortunately uses up all your phone.com minutes. So a way to combat this is to use the no input option. And what this means is that if somebody does not make a menu selection, which I believe is within 5 seconds, then whatever you set here is going to take effect. So what I always recommend people do is set this no input as either leave voicemail, or you can send them to disconnect. Let's just do leave voicemail. That's probably more professional for callers. And that way you'll save all your phone.com minutes for any spam related calls. All right, so that gets the menu configured. We now have all of our options. We are now going to move on to the final step, which is activating your schedule from your phone.com number. I would like to let you know that if you do not do this step, nobody will ever hear your menu. So this is the most critical part. I see a lot of people missing it as it's not completely obvious that you have to do it. So we're going to go into our phone number settings on the interface. So we'll go to configure and we'll select manage numbers on the left. And let's say QuickWeb is our 800 number here. We'll select edit to get into the number settings. And we'll select edit for number action. And it's extremely simple. All you have to do is change select operation to go to menu. And then choose your menu greeting. And you save that. And so now anybody that calls the 800 number right now is going to get that QuickWeb menu greeting. They can do their selections and get forwarded to the appropriate destination. Okay, so that was the menu setup. Very basic. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I am going to shoot out a poll to you right now. I do want to show you some more advanced menu setup options. And so I've assembled 3 here, and I want to see which one you guys would like to see. So if you could just answer real quick, that would be awesome. All right, the results are in. We are going to be showing you forwarding to different menus based on scheduled hours. Great choice. I will be doing an advanced menu setup webinar in the near future, but I just want to give you guys kind of a teaser and some tools to get your stuff going in the immediate future. I will skip over some of the redundancy. I've already made an after hours menu greeting right here. And this is going to say, as I said before, hi, you've reached QuickWeb after hours. Please leave a message. Great. And then I also added my new menu, which is our after hours menu. And to show you the settings, I apply the after hours greeting as the outgoing message. And since I just want to direct callers directly to voicemail on this menu, I made a quick no input rule for leave voicemail on extension 503. Okay, so the menu's made. And in addition, I also talked about the schedule. So let me show you that as well now that you can actually see my screen. So I have a business hours schedule. If I go into the edit menu settings, you'll see that I have a weekday schedule from 9 to 5. So I want all calls during 9 to 5 to go to the business hours schedule, all calls outside of that to go to after hours. So let's slide over to our number settings. So we'll go to configure and manage numbers. We'll go to our 800 number settings again, as I showed you before, and we'll choose edit on number action. So let me do this process again so you guys can get a step-by-step introduction. Okay, so step 1, add new rule. We want to apply our schedule with receive during business hours. During business hours, we want calls to go to our main menu. And in order to route calls to after hours, we do another rule. And we do all calls, and we change this one to go to menu, and then select after hours for that. Very basic, so receive during, it'll go to the main menu. Any hours outside of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, is going to go to the after hours menu. All right, so that was it for today's webinar. If you did not get your question answered in the Q&A, I would highly encourage you to reach out to our many support channels. We have our 800 line at 800-998-7087, in addition to our email support and social media on Twitter.